Yeah, hello everybody.
So,
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Isles, playing Ironclaw. Got that reversed, but you get the meaning.
Good
And
enough.
we have our friend back from Virtual Gen Con, who was running a couple of games there, and now they're back, voice so far. And so let's start with let's start. How was Gen Con? Let's do a little preamble. Let's warm up a little bit before we actually get into this.
Gen Con was good. Thanks to everybody who came to the events. It was pretty popular attended. We did our usual how to self-publish panel for folks. So that was very richly attended, and everybody had good questions. We did several Ironclaw events, so I'm always excited to see that. And we did some Madcap events, which was good. That was an all-ages event, so we had some very clever people for that. And in lieu of the regular Gen Con, because I'm always a big fan of doing the big tour, they always have a very good self-publishing track that at the conventions. That's always good to attend. And the life-size Settlers of Catan, well, not life-size Catan, but big Catan. Life-size Robo Rally is always something to see. But so it was good. So thanks to everybody who came by. And of course, we also finished the Kickstarter for Book of Corals.
Yay.
So that will be out soon-ish.
TM.
Yeah, already doing the fun coordinating on that, and maybe another surprise or two. So lots of sanguine business stuff. We couldn't do it without you guys.
Cool. So let's get started with Theta, your character description and your goals and your motto.
I am Harmon. I'm personality stoic. I am now a donkey soldier / marine.
Cool.
Donkey, mule. I have the goal of discover who is behind the conspiracy, and as far as I know, that's my only goal at the moment. I think that's all Oh, my motto. You need to know that you're in for the fight of your life.
Okay. Next up, we have Fredo Raccoon Condescending.
Yes. You have Spencer McDougall, the raccoon cognoscenti, whose motto is "The best secrets are those you are not known to keep," who's got a calculating personality, and his goal right now is to dismantle the conspiracy against the kingdom.
Next up, of course, we have Gregory. Sir Gregory.
Hey, yes, I'm Sir Gregory Varkin III, Vane Lion Elementalist. My motto is, I am fit to be the king, and my goal is to discover who's behind the conspiracy.
And fireball, and any doubt, fireball.
Yes, I made a couple new macros for my other fire spells. Now I have 3.
And last but certainly not least, actually we have 2 left. So, Robert, your Panther friend.
I am definitely last and least. No, I am playing Duncan, the Panther Burglar. My motto is "Charity begins at home," and I also have the same goal as everybody else at the moment: uncover the conspiracy that's hitting the Isles at the moment.
And our inevitable friend and great supporter of the show with quick rules, clarifications at any moment, which are always appreciated. And I mean that. Rafferty, I believe your brother.
Brother Vesper, and I am indeed a friend to all.
Vesper.
For I am a raccoon almoner, who's also an ordained priest. My motto is keep your faith alight, but keep your powder dry. I, too, want to get to the bottom of this conspiracy.
So we begin with Brother Vesper, as he has been summoned to the cathedral to speak to the Archbishop. As Brother Norman comes in, there are 4 other people in the room: the Archbishop and 3 others. a horse, a very tall mare, actually, wearing full plate armor, a wolf, male, and a boar, female. The wolf is wearing the purple robes of a condescenti, and carrying a staff. And the boar is also wearing basically mail underneath a clerical frock, and it has a mace belt. They seem to be sort of standing in attention as you come in. It's only until the Archbishop speaks that they sort of relax a little bit. Ah, brother, by the light, you have finally arrived. Welcome.
Welcome. Peace be with you.
Peace be with you. It seems that you sent some sort of missive to Triskelion some weeks ago.
Well,
And
as may well be self-evident, this country is in a state of crisis. People's faith and morale are at all-time lows. Worldliness, greed, savagery, wrath are running rampant. People are losing faith in the shining light of all creation. The landscape is torn apart, not just by war, but also by famine and disease as the country falls apart. Now is the time when we must rise to the call of action.
indeed. Well, His Holiness apparently has heard your call for action and help, and has sent these fine folk here to investigate further, to see exactly what can be done, if
Well,
anything can be done.
did they bring retinue? Did they bring food and charity to give to the needy?
They bring the question. And when you hear that word, you know that when the church decides to investigate matters both of faith and politics, they can sometimes summon the power of the question to basically interrogate anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't expecting the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody does. And
Well, it is good that you found it within your hearts to investigate the matter. I'm sure we can come to a swift resolution to answer all of your questions, and thus you will see the self-evident need for action.
the mayor speaks. I am a knight of the faith. See what her name is. Let's present the characters before you. She presents herself as Paladin Jean Fortier. These are my companions, Brother Garçon and the Mage Laval. I understand that you do not work alone, brother. Is that correct?
Well, I serve the domain of Lord Gregory. I almost said king. Of Lord Gregory, and he serves the best interests of both state and church.
He does. We will require to speak to them, as well as you.
Oh, sure,
on
right
the
this way.
matter of the question, yes. And just sort of, and the bishop is like, a moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, could you wait outside? A bow, and they take the wait outside, and they close the door behind them.
I mean, I
Says,
regret to. Oh, go ahead.
Brother, I understand perfectly the dire need in which we find ourselves in, but I am surprised that you took this hurried step without proper consultation.
It's not beyond the capacity of my office when I serve Lord Gregory and the interests of the church itself to make the grand appeal that people are suffering. I witnessed this firsthand. I saw it with my own eyes, and I recite only what I see to be true.
I do not doubt that at all. I said I was surprised that I was not consulted in this particular matter. As your superior, it helps, you see, to know these things beforehand. I was pleasantly surprised when these three fine folk came all the way from Calabria to pay their respects to me and were searching for you. Of course,
Well,
they
we both serve the
detail.
same master.
We serve the light, of course. Well, they are strictures, you see, procedures. And they did not come directly to you because they thought that I had instructed you to do this and this missive, which I fully agree with, of course. But I found myself in a difficult position to answer their questions about putting you particularly to the question. So I hope you understand my position, brother.
I can appreciate the burdens of administration that you labor under. I acted in a moment of passion as I saw the suffering firsthand. And I'm seeing good women and children suffer at the hands. For the health of the land is the health of the people. It is a time of war and a time of chaos. We will be beacons of hope to the people in this time. And right now, I have great fear that if Lord Gregory and his campaign is not successful against those who would bring lawlessness and greed to the land, this aid may yet not still be enough. We can't afford to lose the people at this, their greatest hour of need.
Very true. But a reminder that while the light shines brightest in midday, when the waters rise, it tends to diffuse underneath. It is best if we can channel our efforts to be most efficient. Bring the light into the minds of all those who are required to see it, so that their actions in turn spread the good word.
You speak with the wisdom of your office, Your Excellency.
Thank you. So I would tell you as a piece of advice, brother. The question is harsh. The question is as blinding as the midday sun. Only by you and your companions facing it head on can the truth be truly revealed, and we can get this help we need. It is my suggestion that you, to put it candidly, bear it all before the light, and it will show you the paradise.
I will seek to obey the counsel of your words, Your Excellency.
Thank you. And have a good day.
Peace be with you.
And they're outside, and they're waiting outside. The three folk that are waiting outside. It's like, well, brother, you said something about meeting your companions.
We're going into a war zone, my friends. It is a dangerous place, and even if the troops have been abdicated, the land has already suffered long under famine and continues to suffer under war. We are not going into pleasant circumstances. I believe my boat can be ready immediately, and we can set sail.
Actually, your companions are on the capital. Everybody's ready.
Yeah, we're back at the capital at this point.
Oh, that took this long? Okay. Oh, they're back. Oh, well, I need to go.
Yeah,
Let's
we've
go
even
meet
been
with
taking
them.
a break.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they were
Well,
doing other
what's
things you were
happening
doing.
while you guys were gone. Yeah, no, let's go talk to Lord Gregory, and he can tell you all about the horrible things he's seen.
Have them being brought to us. Well, she'll go first and meet them. And
Hey, come, we'll go see him right now.
Chico follows. Gregory, and whoever happens to be in your home at this moment.
Mhm.
Of course.
Of course.
And
The only one that's not there. So
probably it's early to mid morning. You're having your second breakfast, right? You're having your brunch.
Yeah, I'm having my cat nap, It's like, I was awake all night doing the paperwork. I had someone send it out, and now I'm taking some sleep.
Yeah, and one of the servants, Jolene, says, "My lord, Brother Vesper is here with some guests."
Oh, well, of course,
show
of
them in?
course. See them in and have them go around the long way. I need a minute to wake up. I'll meet
Very
them
well,
in the
sir.
dining room.
Will do. And Sam goes off, and you are.
See, you're very bad at your job. If you wanted to delay me, you'd have me sit down to second breakfast.
Of course. Well, I'm not trying to delay you that much.
And you're taking
Second
a long
breakfast
way.
is on the table.
That's funny reply.
Vesper, you realize that most the two-thirds of this party are basically just laser focused on whatever you're going, but the cognoscenti is very observant. They are looking about. So in this home, it's only Gregory and his manservant, bodyguard, and companion.
Well, I'm
No one
not.
else?
I'm
Those
not.
are probably three different people.
Oh,
I would say
those
I'm
are
not
three.
manservant.
The companion
Okay.
left out the back. Don't worry.
Yeah. And oof. So no one else. Okay. So led to Gregory's study. Gregory, as you meet again, you're introduced to these three figures. You see a tall mare. She's wearing a full plate armor. A boar cleric with clearly he's wearing armor underneath his cleric robes, basically mail, and has a well-worn and used weapon on his side, and a cognoscenti wolf who is.
So I'm probably standing in the center of the office waiting for them to come in, and when Vesper brings up the cat, and I'll be like, "Oh, Vesper, it's so good to see you again, my friend. And then who are these fine gentlemen?" And I will go ahead and go to each of them and start shaking their hands.
I am so pleased to hear that you are not dead.
Not dead, and not a single hair singed at all. Good fortune for me, I believe.
Well, yes. Anytime one goes into battle, there's always the possibility of something dire and untoward. But I also see that Harmon is also here.
As always.
Yep.
Yes. He's just in the corner. Don't mind him. He has his chair.
Does he have any new battles? I'm looking at him. Does he have any new battle scars or anything? Did you have another almost death experience, Harmon?
No.
Oh.
Also, I don't have a chair. I wouldn't be caught sitting down.
Oh, I give you the chair. You just don't sit in it.
I know.
It's still your chair.
Thank you for the chair.
Well, thank you. I'll sit down in the chair. My legs are tired.
That's okay. There's a few more around here. Let me sit down after I've shaken your hands.
I try to stay within 4 paces of Harmon as much as possible.
Yeah, so I believe Brother Vesper has probably already introduced me. I'm Gregory Varkin III. It's a pleasure. I don't think I've been introduced to you yet.
Oh, I am a sister of the light, Paladin Knight John Fortier, Brothers Garzon, and Mage Laval. We received a message from Brother Vesper, and His Holiness.
If I understand correctly, Fortier is a capitular. She is indeed a paladin, right? Sorry, a capitular, which is basically a Templar that reports directly to the Pope. Is that correct?
Correct.
Nice.
And who are the two people with them? Are they also capitulars, or are they doing an indulgence for the church?
They're doing indulgence for the church. They're basically backing her up.
All right. So Fortier here reports directly. So I wrote to the Pope, and they sent us 3 holy warriors, or 1 holy warrior and 2 people on retainer.
And Gregory's just gonna go, they responded, and this is them? Oh, I'm so honored that you heard our humble words and came. I'm so glad that your assistance is here.
They're here. Grind my teeth a little bit. They're here as attaches and observers. Apparently, even though I made it extremely clear within my letter that the landscape is suffering under poverty and the ravages of war, that instead of sending charity, they have sent an inquisition.
Oh, I see. Well, I suppose they have to see for themselves what the situation is like, and I imagine that their own eyes will see quite clearly.
We must avail them of all the intelligence that we have firsthand. I'm sure that you, being a river tier people, have seen much of this firsthand and can eloquently dispose what you've seen. Harmon is your executive officer, and he has witnessed the horrors of battle. And also Spencer, being your spiritual consultant, should be able to also impart more details. Basically, we need to start going over the intelligence immediately and let them know the gravity of the situation.
Of course, of course.
Might
I believe
I,
Spencer and Duncan aren't around right now. It's only
Wait, holy
morning.
crap, Harmon said something.
can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I mean, sorry, Vesper said he was within 4 feet of me, so I need to ask him a question, like lean down a little bit. Inquisition, what does that mean?
That means they're here to see if we need help.
Okay.
Well, let me clarify. We are here to investigate the claims that the brother has made in his letter to His Holiness. Especially if we find confirming that we have had other reports that members of the church are assisting different parts of this rebellion. We find that most disconcerting, and that there might be connections to one or more of people here and or on the mainland. But further than that, we are here to put you, sir,
Well,
and
why
all
don't
the
you?
members. Excuse me.
We'll get one of Lord Gregory's assistants to make you comfortable and show you the quarters. Why don't you go ahead and do that? And rather than exhaust yourselves repeating what you've already told me, I will get Lord Gregory up to speed.
I was not finished, brother. They might be very tolerant where you are, the Archbishop, of your impassioned words, but I am not one to be interrupted so easily.
I overreach. My apologies.
Apology accepted. As I was saying, Lord Gregory, we are here to, put it bluntly, put you and your companions to the question. That means that you will be interrogated, both verbally and magically, to find out anything and everything that you know about this. We believe this is the most complete and painless way to find out all your information, and that we might evaluate what we can do best. Without the proper knowledge of all the, shall we say, angles, it would be very difficult for me to carry a full report back to His Holiness and have him decide what, if anything, is to be done about the situation. On your concerns about bringing aid to this poor island, brother, we are understanding of this, but this is not my specific purview, or I will emphasize in my missive that the people should not suffer too much for lack of both refreshment and food. We will be remiss in our holy mission to forget that the people suffer when people of high might and power believe that they can toil the lives of others under the light. That is unacceptable, but it is only a part of what I'm supposed to do. Right now, I am supposed to put you to the question. It sounds ominous, but not to worry. It should be relatively painless. I would say that you will have to get all your companions who are knowledgeable of this situation and present yourselves to the cathedral to be, questioned. And he sort of turns to the mage, the Consenti wearing the purple robes, the wolf, and says, it also helps to have and pardon me, perhaps it sounds like a bad pun, an open mind when facing the question. But don't be worried. No harm will come to you. This is about finding the truth. And I always find the truth to be both illuminating and ultimately healing. Now, I will give you time with Brother Vesper here to explain any other details. Gather your companions and meet me at tomorrow, early in the morning, in the church.
Very well, then.
Do you have any other questions?
I believe I see and I understand. And I am nothing if not an honest and upstanding individual, and I will gladly share with you what I can. However, you do understand that some of my activities are a matter of state, and while I do definitely trust your own honor and intentions, there are things that which I may not be allowed to say, and which may not or should not be read. Uh, as I believe may have been mentioned, I do have a cognoscenti under my own service. If I say pointing to Lavely, would perhaps like to speak with Spencer and ascertain the truth between yourselves, then I believe we can find accommodations for that angle. However, you would understand my position.
Oh, I will see to it. What is it? Lady Chambellan, I believe, is already informed of our investigation. You may speak with her, of course. She is your vassal lord, and
Of course.
but also you must understand, as someone who is a magistrate, right, an investigator, and bringing
Mhm.
up justice and truth, that at times even the smallest pieces of information are, shall we say, illuminating in ways that can only be seen once they're put together and fit the larger puzzle.
Of course. Which is
If
why
it
I'm
pleases,
more.
if it
Go ahead.
pleases you to you, I would, when I create my report, you might be able to, with alongside the Lady Chamberlain, who will get a copy, see what other details might be things that should not be shared. That might be. We are not here to endanger anyone's lives, only to seek the truth.
Of course.
Only those who are operating in the shadows, away from the light, fear the truth.
I suppose at this point, maybe I should go ahead and roll for inquiry to see how much do I fully believe this.
Right.
I suppose mind inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I did invoke my authority here. I guess that is enough to see if that was enough to push them into thinking.
I'd like to go ahead and assist because I'm here to give you cues and observe. If it's all right with you,
Right.
I'd like to take a rote on this, considering I have ordainment, inquiry, and knowledge of the church and insider, and just give him a D8, if that's all right.
Right, you wink, wink, nudge, nudge me about the church.
Yeah.
Seems perfectly fine. So I have 4 dice, and they all popped up successes.
Yeah, with those successes, she believes that she's telling you and being as forthright as possible.
Right. She
Furthermore,
fully intends to follow through with her word.
Yeah, but she is. You get a reading of her that she is stern, severe, not out of malice, but it's just that's just what's expected.
As a
her,
personality,
right?
she is not to be trifled with.
Yes, she's not somebody who seems to get very. In fact, when she chided Vesper, she didn't do so in anger, but rather as a sort of, stating a fact.
Yeah.
And a little bit reminiscent of Harmon when Harmon acts as well, but she seems to be someone who is a little more prefers more words and action.
Yes, we can already see the sparks across the room too.
And in fact, as you leave, he says you are expected at in the morning, early in the morning in the church. We have a room prepared for you to be in. This, depending on how it goes, it might take a few hours, maybe several days. Like I said, I promise that you will not be harmed. Although, I will be honest, as someone who already has been put to the question, the magical aspect of this can be very intrusive. So I will give the same advice I would give to anyone who has been put to the question. Open yourself to the light and let the truth shine through you. Good day, sir.
Good day
Good
to
day,
you as
brother.
well.
And
So
she
they
makes
will.
a sign, and
Yeah,
they leave.
they'll leave. The servant will escort them out and such. And now I'm here with Brother Vesper and Harmon. Well, I suppose they did finally come.
Well, this it's an embarrassment of riches, my lord. So instead of okay, so let me dispose freely. You, of course, are a worthy administrator. Possibly, since we are all among intimates here. I suppose it would be no secret to say that you would be a much more forceful and effective leader than many of the people here that you
Truly,
are
I'm flattered.
suited to be king. Right.
I would never exceed my offices, but well, let me tell you, there might be options in the future now.
Well, you would rise to the challenge. So not only have I made an appeal to the church to show them that obviously this place is in terrible shape, but also that it's in their best interests to solidify their own power base. This place is anti-church and pro-pagan, but also, famine and war. And so by backing you and you back the church, it's in their best interest to send money. Well, we're already in a bit of a wicket here because they sent an inquisition, and now the archbishop is put me in, I guess, the doghouse is what we would call it, because the archbishop wasn't expecting an inquisition and doesn't want one, and saw this as an overstepping of my authority, which means I'm turning it into an overstepping of your authority. So we need to push more authority.
Well, to be fair, I did give you the go-ahead for some reason. I can't remember why anymore, but well, here we are.
Because of the suffering. How soon you forget? People are
The
dying out there.
suffering. No, well, I thought I convinced you to do something for. That doesn't matter anymore. If
It's a
I've forgotten some
coordinated
deal,
invasion. We've witnessed firsthand the act of master elementalism that they sent in, a sortie of bound elemental forces, and I can only imagine what horrors you witnessed on the battlefield as you pressed further north.
indeed.
So
Still.
this is indeed a concentrated invasion of our estate, and we
Of course.
need. And this continued bickering among these provincial lords, all struggling to get their own little corner, when the entire isles are at risk, not only the physical plane, but also the spiritual plane, because we can only imagine what those guys have with their magic scripts that are going to show them how to drown everybody. This is a matter that's bigger than either you or I. So
Yes.
we need to send those people to the most horrible places we can, so they can witness. They can witness the suffering that's going on. That's why they're here. Because I said people are suffering. We need to make sure they see all the suffering as much as possible.
I do agree. I'm not sure where I can send them. I don't hang out in those parts of town. But if they are intending to probe us in our own memories, we have seen it firsthand ourselves.
Well,
and I have no problem cooperating with them.
We can send them on a progress. I mean, did you liberate everything, or did you just have a decisive victory and came home?
We had a decisive victory. We accomplished our mission at the dockyard, and we took a sizable amount of grain back, which is now enjoyed by the city to some
Right.
extent.
So you liberated that city, but there were places along the way that were in enemy control.
Yes, the war is still on and will be for at least another year. Perhaps more, but we can only hope it ends quickly.
Well, they at least have they have some claim to diplomacy, because they're not locals. So they might be able to go ahead and go into war zones and see things that we can't. Of course, they might not be believed and be thought of as spies. If they were killed as spies, that would actually help further our agenda quite a bit.
Let's hold back on the idea of involving a diplomatic conspiracy for a moment, and let's Let's focus on the very simple things in front of us.
We should send them into the occupied territories so they can see firsthand how terrible it's being handled, because they can see how much better a job that we're doing. That's all we need to report, that under old regime, bad. Under our regime, good. Hope should back our regime. We're great.
Yes, exactly.
And make it that simple. Because that's a capitular. They report to no one but the Pope.
Right.
So,
I can only hope it's in their agenda to go along with such a plan and not merely to pose this question.
Well, I've only had a few hours to converse, but Fortien seems sincere. If I'm not mistaken, they're probably from the pastorals. See, like the capitular orders, like the Templar orders, are deliberately removed from society, and they only pick the most loyal of the loyal. I mean, any Yahoo can grab a calendar sword and claim to be a paladin, but they only make you a capitular if you have like an insane level of zealotry where you're willing to die for everything you believe. Can you believe that people? I say, leave my hand on pharmacy. Can you believe that people exist like that think of nothing but serving and dying in battle?
Truly, a fanatical servants deserving of praise.
It's a certain worldview.
And Harmon turns to the camera and goes like,
Yes.
Hey, it's a living.
So I believe them. That's why we need to make sure that they see all the suffering firsthand. I don't know, but I'm a little worried that since I went over since you told me to do this, went over the Archbishop and went directly to the Pope, that the Church is probably already sending foreign aid. It's just going to the Archbishop first and the people last. That's why you have the big giant cathedrals and then people starving at the foot of them. If excuse me, I gotta write down these 95 theses so I can nail them to the door.
We'll get to that part later. Don't worry.
Make sure they focus on indulgences. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, but actually, I'm the other kind. It's not so much that I want church reform, it's so much as in, they should rebuild the church around me because I know what's good best for people.
Oh, so you're a Gregorian reformer?
Yes.
Because I am awesome.
Now the calendar is too many days. Please eliminate 11. All right.
I suppose our material ends first. They said it might take a couple of days. They do allow for breaks and we'll return home and all that such, and it won't interfere with work, right?
We should put them on a boat and send them immediately into the war zone.
They want to question us tomorrow, and she will not have it any other way.
Well,
if we want to win her trust, we will have to undergo whatever this ordeal of questioning is.
Well, once again, I don't think we're actually going to be duplicitous about this. Everything we've witnessed firsthand shows that the current regime is terrible. These people are terrible.
Right.
Definitely. And also, you have nothing to hide. But I just want to solidify that. We need to get them out there to see the suffering firsthand and not get distracted by having them talk to us. We especially need to get them away from any influence the Archbishop has, because not that I suspect the Archbishop is duplicitous, but I really want them to see all the war-torn suffering firsthand. Because once again, you, my lord, my esteemed general and leader of the people, want to make sure that all of the victory for this appears in your name.
Of course, as it should be. And I think this is definitely the right way forward. I had my doubts about it before, but things have come to light. You've undoubtedly are aware that the 2 islands are vacant of a king, one for death and the other for rebellion. Correct.
The wages of war.
Now, Prince Xavier will come of age and gain his title eventually.
3 of the islands are without a king because one became the high king.
Yeah.
The other one has a minor child that is not yet ready to be king, and the other one is in rebellion.
Right. And of course, I'm specifically focusing the attention down to 2 right now. So Prince Xavier will eventually come of age and take his crown, and I have no doubt our new High King will find a suitable replacement given laws and all such. It's beyond me, and it does not concern me as now. But there is the last one for once our rebellious king is taken away once and for all, the war is over. I believe I at least have the smallest smidgen of support amongst those who are most keen about who else shall replace the next king. That perhaps I might have a chance.
Who is
And
that?
who what?
Who do you think is going to be the next king?
I would hope that my name is in the running, and I think with Prince Xavier's assistance, his support, the High Kings, it will be hard to deny that. I think there's only the chancellors after that, and I'll have to do a mental list, but I think perhaps I could get there.
Well, you'd have
And
to get some legitimacy. In
this
a
is true.
tanistry system, a previous heir or other claimant has to appoint their successor.
But he is but a young child and has no successors.
Well, you can't succeed. If this is Brehon law, you can't actually succeed until you're the age of majority, which is 70, but you can still appoint an heir even if they're not of age. They just can't assume the office.
Right. Still, I think once it is over, things will occur. I believe the backing of the church in this is going to be most essential for both two reasons. First of all, as you said, to give me that full air of legitimacy, and perhaps even a small base of support. That, I believe, is perhaps one of our greatest allies in all this. And the second of all is that the Young King's Island is already heavily swayed, in the religious terms, towards Salumer. And if I am an upstanding member of that religion, and I have the support and control of an island of those who support me because of those religious reasons, then everything just smooths out so nicely.
We need to work on the popular support. The common people themselves have to have their needs met. Like, as much as we might want to play our chess game for the nobility, the fact is that we're not giving people. We've already witnessed where people are, having their wages stolen, their property seized, and it's instead of being freedom from want and that they actually need. So we need to
I do agree.
find ways to do that.
I do agree. The material concerns will definitely have to come into play, and if the people aren't placated, I have no doubt they'll probably kill me in a week. Which is probably all the more reason we end this war quickly. Now, I mentioned it could end as soon as a year, but if it lasts longer than that, I fear there might be permanent, irreparable damage to our state.
Well, we already had a bad harvest.
Exactly.
So...
And now we're undergoing a war which will increase the famine, and especially as soldiers milling about the land decide to pillage and raid to continue up their own stores because, well, you can't have a baggage train too long.
And we already have foreign invasions because we've already seen foreign troops. Our goal here is to convince these people here that we need foreign aid. We need humanitarian aid.
Exactly, which I can only pray your church will pull through on that once we get through, because it seems to be pulling through for the young king. And if it comes to aid us and me instead, then it will be as if the light has shone upon me.
Well, I can't verify this, but I would be worried that the Archbishop has been accepting aid in coin and not material goods, because coin is fungible and can be spent on anything. Our goal is to actually get fungible goods here, because coin, I'm not accusing anyone, of embezzling or anything like that. What it is coin's not going to help because there's no food to buy. You can't just buy stuff. We need actual food, medicine, and supplies to arrive here, and it's got to come from somewhere else. Because, like we just said, there was a bad harvest last year, and apparently, if superstitious mumbo jumbos be trusted, but we also have a war-torn countryside, we're going to have a bad harvest next year.
Right. It's difficult. I can only hope we get the message through once we are done with this. That is our primary goal.
Well, I'm entrusting that you can go ahead and send these agents to war. I need to start working on finding out the other agents. I want to go ahead and bridge the gap between us and the pagans. The pagans are shown that they are an anti-war agency, but being a bunch of recondite, mysterious druids, they haven't been easy to reach. And I think what we need to do is we need to come to a consensus. If
Mhm.
we can get them to endorse humanitarian aid and our cause, that will not only be for the greatest interest of the people, but also in your interests too.
Of course. Well, I think that more or less concludes all of our points of matter then. I believe I need to see the Lady Chamberlain, and I'll be taking Harmon with me. If you could update Spencer and Duncan on the matter, find where they are and make sure they know, then I think all will be well.
Well, after lunch.
Oh, yes, bring in lunch now.
Yes,
Excellent. You are a wise and forceful administrator.
so what are our amenable friends Duncan and Spencer doing?
I would assume I would have spent like a day or two with my wife and my kid, and then probably head back to meet with Gregory. So I'd probably be just heading into Cair Corwin or
Mhm.
very close to Cair Corwin at this point.
And Spencer?
I figure he's been sick and injured, so he's probably being taken care of somewhere.
By this time, yeah, I think you had a barber attending your wounds and helping you recover. So yeah, I don't think that it's a past a couple of weeks. So yeah, you are.
Oh, it's been a couple weeks, so I've definitely passed my healing quotas.
Yeah.
Even if they were all roaded.
Yeah. So that's not a problem. So you probably are, still kind of a little gingerly walking around because, getting out of the sick conditions and being in bed for quite a bit of time. It takes a while to stretch your legs. But yeah, you're clearly on the other side. You're just sort of a matter of getting accustomed to walking and stretching your legs and whatnot. So it's, you might be feeling a little bit of the after effects, but nothing serious.
All right. Well, then I assume he has a place to stay somewhere, so he'd be there poring over his books, trying to figure out, because he's on the fast track to learning how to bind the shade, so he's working on where to find the best ones.
Yeah, the travelogue that you have with you actually can help you a lot because it's basically designed to basically help people see the sites, and it points to battlefields, it points to other points of interest, a particular pretty mountain, an area of hunting, that sort of thing. It's mostly written from the point of view of for nobility or people of means. So
Right.
it's kind of things
Tour
like,
guide.
oh, you want a tour guide. So it's not for the common people. They don't care. Probably many of them wouldn't be able to read it. But people who have means can probably read and write, or someone in their household can read and write. And they want to ski, they want to hunt, they want to celebrate a great battle. That's where they go. So you probably highlighted a couple of places where you could try, depending on what kind of shader you're looking for, right? If you're looking for shades of that combat capability, then yeah, that's easy to find. If you're looking for a shade that gives you information or something like that, that might be a bit difficult because that, go to cemeteries or ancient temples or something like that. That usually rich people don't give much of a hoot about unless they are, proto-archaeologists or something. And that's not the purview of the travelogue.
He's
It depends
definitely
what you're
looking
looking
for a protective sort of being. So yeah, I hope the travelogue seems to fit the bill of telling him what to look for.
Yeah. So you're doing that. So Duncan, you're walking back, and as you get past the main gates, the main road basically leads to the main castle, and nearby to the right is the cathedral that is being built. And as you go into this large square, where mostly that's a market square, and to one side is the cathedral. Very much like if you go to London and you see St. Paul. St. Paul's are not in the middle of the road, but sort of to this one side in this very large square. Well, it used to be a square. Now it's a major roadway in London, if I remember correctly. You see three figures, and the reason why you notice them is that they're it's a mare wearing full plate armor, right? And she's very tall, even for a horse, right? Especially, literally, she is of a build of a war horse. Like she is the Clydesdale of warriors.
Oh dear.
Yeah, she's very tall and very, very imposing. Beside her is another female, so a female wolf, and even shorter and stockier boar. The boar is wearing clearly wearing armor underneath their clerical robes and a well-worn mace that seems to have a couple of lumps into it. Somebody probably used it. And people sort of part their way and excuse me and all that. And she just sort of walks. She doesn't seem to be very rude, but is the kind of person that is used to having a commanding presence. So it's like if she were to go in a crowd, the crowd would part because they could sense her presence, right? She's someone who knows how to go through crowds, not bullying herself. And like you see Gregory do this, right? That, you know, when they impose their presence, it can almost be felt as a physical manifestation. And they pass you by. The wolf, the she wolf, she kind of looks at you for a moment. In fact, she seems to be looking everywhere, almost like a tourist, like rubbernecking like a tourist. And she looks at you for a moment, fixes your eyes into you, and then keeps walking, as if you were never there. Very peculiar. And she's wearing the robes of a cognizant. She's wearing the purple robes. So
yeah. Okay. I sold back that gift. Damn it. Oh crap. What is there a like? Is there like? Was she trying to read my mind? Because that would be my first thought. Because I know what Spencer does.
I mean, what you know about Spencer is if the cognizant want to be subtle, they can be subtle. You know, it's not the kind of flashy magic that Gregory does with fire and you know, it can be for some incantation, especially in the middle of battle, but mostly is if she wanted to, she could have, and you would have no idea.
Yeah. I go to like a corner, like a little bit further away, stop, and I just observe them as they walk. I'm assuming they're walking into the cathedral.
Yes.
Okay. So I just watch them until they go inside.
As they're coming in, there's people literally, they're beggars in the stairs of the cathedral. The stucky boar, he stops and hands out what seems to be like pieces of bread to people. Not coin, but bread and even a little bit of water. He has a water skin, and literally at one point pours some water into the mouth of a you know, so basically someone who is clearly dehydrated. When that starts to happen, the people start sort of getting up, but the lady knight sort of looks around. I mean, it's almost puts her front hoof in front of the front step, looks around, and everybody sort of, you know, goes back to their places. Yeah. And normally you see when people, one of the things about, especially in a place like this when there's a lot of beggars, that people start throwing coin or food. Everybody wants a piece right there. And there's a lot of activity because the cathedral is also not complete. There's workers coming in and out as well.
Yeah.
And although there's actually more guards now, members of the Chosen are here because of an incident that happened a couple of months, an attempt against the cathedral itself. You have some of the details. You think that Gregory was involved, but
that would not surprise me.
You're not really sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, as long as they're not like.
I mean, you can dig in. You can ask around about it. But they just came in. He gives, and you see the war sort of makes a motion because from a distance you can see them talking, almost like both blessing but also asking for forgiveness of the
to the people. Horse.
Yeah, not to the horse, to the beggars and
to the beggars.
Okay. Yeah, and then they proceed, and she sort of looks at him. It's not that she's disapproving. She sort of looks at it like, well, this is just the way it goes, right? This is just something that this person does, and she doesn't. You know. Her move was more to protect them, to know they wouldn't be rushed, right? And maybe dissuade some, pickpockets or something, right? In fact, she's packing. I forgot to remember. She's actually packing a great sword strapped to her back.
Yeah, that sounds like a paladin. Would I actually know that's a paladin, by the way, or am I not familiar with it enough for living here?
You have heard rumors of holy warriors, warriors that dedicate themselves to one or more faiths. Some of them are attracted to the Church of Samir. They're not very popular here in the Isles. You might have heard a story here and there, but Calabria seems to have their fair number of them. It's one of the reasons why she stands out so well, so much, I guess, because it's a rare sight. Not an armored figure is necessarily a rare sight with so many troops, but the combination of the three of them, a mage, a cleric, an armed cleric with a mace at his side, and the paladin, that's, and she's already an imposing sight. So yeah.
All they need is an archer, and then they can go down to the dungeon.
Yeah, and into the cathedral they go.
Yes. All right. Well, that was interesting. I'm going to make a note of those people, like when I remember them, and I'm going to head to Sir Gregory's and see if he's there. First off, tell him I'm back. Saw my wife. It was fun, and just let him know, like, hey, did you know that there's like strangers in town right now?
Oh, Duncan. Oh, I see the servant let you in. They did let you in, right? Well, yes, there are a few new people in town. In fact, we will be going through with some questioning with the church.
Questioning?
Yes, it appears that they've brought a few of their allies here to question about the state of the Isles and our interactions here. And I believe perhaps that they will fully afford us their attention and alliance should we manage to press the situation upon them properly. About the devastation and horrid conditions.
Wouldn't it just be faster to show them the devastation and horrid conditions?
Vesper would agree about this, and were he not busy with lunch right now, as you see, I'm sure he would tell you as well, but so that he does not have to close his mouth. Let me say, I believe first we do have to convince them of our own earnestness, and afterwards perhaps we can ship them out to somewhere to see firsthand, and having gained a full report from us and their own eyes, they should report back with positive sentiments for us.
I see. Well, I mean, that sounds easy enough. So we're supposed to meet them tomorrow for questioning, you said?
Indeed.
Well, what's the worst that can happen?
Well, the worst that can happen is that they do have a cognoscenti.
I did notice that. She kind of gave me a look.
Well, you'll be getting quite more than a look. I don't think Spencer has ever taken a moment to demonstrate his magic with you, has he?
I know he does stuff with people's minds. Are you saying that they're going to do that to us?
Very possibly. I've had him do it to me at least once, so that I would press past the fear of not knowing what it does or how it operates. And it's not harmful or anything, but it can reveal things.
This is not what I had in mind for questioning, sir.
I see. Is there... I don't mean to press, and don't tell me if there's something you don't want to be known, but is there something you definitely do not wish to be known?
And I open my robe and I show him the stolen book that I took from the church from the aisle there that had all the notes and stuff.
You just stole a book. Whatever. Is that the worst of it?
Then I open the jewelry case and show him all the stolen jewelry.
That might not have been the best idea at the time. Is there any more?
And then
he just opens up his robes and it's full of watches.
I just open up my robe and I look like the merchant from Resident Evil 4.
We might have a slight problem here, actually.
No, it's not. No, that's actually the last of it. And I just, I say, well, this is honestly not something I'm worried about confessing, because it's just something I'm good at. Plus, it's helped us. I mean, this is how we were able to get payment or give payments to those who need it sometimes.
If that is your stance on it, and you have no objection to it whatsoever, then I will not make any accommodation.
I'd rather they just not ask questions about other things. Let's put it that way.
I suppose I should lay it out as clearly as possible. With the magic that Spencer can do, and that, what was it, Lever? Yes, Lavallee will also be doing. It doesn't matter what is asked. It matters what you know, and if it is in your head, they will know as well.
Is Harmon around?
Yeah, hi Harmon. He's just over there with his chair.
Yeah, Gregory, I don't sit in a chair.
It's still yours.
Sure,
I
okay.
look
If
at
you've
Harmon,
gifted
who
me
is
a
standing next
chair,
to his
then I guess
chair.
I have a chair, but I'm not sitting in it.
Yes.
I look at Harmon, who is standing next to his
Glad
chair,
you
and
appreciate it.
I ask him straight up, "Are you okay with this?
No.
Are
I
you going
didn't
to do
think
it?
so.
I'm sorry, what?
Are you still going to go through with it?"
No.
I didn't think so. I'm kind of with him on this one. I don't know if this is a good idea.
I know and understand. I will do what I can. I'll be speaking to the Lady Chancellor once I'm done with lunch here. I don't know what Spencer thinks. You haven't seen him around, have you?
No, I just got back into town. I also had a question for you since I'm here. Can you help my son get a job?
Oh, yes, of course. What does he need? My father has a few businesses.
I mean, it's an apprenticeship of some kind, maybe. We wanted to set him up for a trade.
Oh, yes, that's no problem at all. I'll give a talk
And
to
he's
my
getting
father
to that.
sometime tonight.
He's also getting to that age where he needs to be ready. I wanted to do something where I think we could teach him practical skills, maybe a carpenter or cooper or something like that.
Yeah, I'll probably like
And
turn around to like a bunch of books, pull one off the shelf, and start like looking through like what does my family own here? Carpentry. Uh, uh what do you think? Lessons, carpenters.
Your father probably knows of somebody who knows somebody, right? You're more
Okay.
an import expert and other things, so yeah.
Right, so I'll go ahead and just like make a note on my desk, like write letter or something, and I'll start like handling that eventually.
yes, and with your permission, I'd also like to continue his training with weaponry, if that's okay.
Wait, say again? I'm sorry.
With your permission, I'd also like to maybe give him formal training with some weaponry.
No one ever said he couldn't. I suppose the easiest way would be to ask the Lord Chancellor if there's room for another soldier in the guard.
Well, I wasn't thinking soldier. I was thinking more so just teach him how to shoot a bow straight.
Well, if you're teaching him, then you already have that handled. It's
Yeah,
not
but
like he
my
won't
problem
ever
is
return home again. Carpentry is
God
such a
willing.
dangerous business, isn't it?
Yeah. In the Isles Gods willing or something like that. But that's the kind of the issue. I'm not home enough to really evaluate his lessons as much as I hope.
Such is the problem for us all. Well,
yeah.
I'm sure there will be time later.
Yes, but look, here's the deal. I'm willing to go and meet this interrogation, but I'm really not sure we should have our minds melded in or something like that. I don't think that's necessary, really.
There may not be a choice. I don't know how strong Lavalier is. I know Spencer can only do the trick once a day. So it is perhaps
this normal?
possible that if this is conducted over several days, she will get to us all. So the
I
sooner
see.
I can end it, the better.
I also go to Vesper. Is this normal procedure for these questions too? If Vesper is there,
Of course, I'm always here.
is this normal procedure?
I mean, is it normal for the church to send inquisitors? Yes.
And use mind wizards to interrogate them?
Well, look, I don't want to be one of those conspiracy theorists that you hear so much about, but yeah, so if you know how to read and you like magic, there's only a few avenues available to you for spiritual study. And so if you're the kind of person who likes to hang out with people a lot and get them to do what you want, you could go to the Church of Salmaire and learn white magic, or you could go to the Cognoscente and learn green and purple magic, or you could do both at the same time. So, yeah, it's frighteningly easy for the Cognoscente to ensconce themselves into the clergy. They even have their own heterodoxy about it.
Okay, that's good to know.
I think the fact that they sent a paladin and a paladin, a soldier at arms, and pointedly because they sent a sorcerer. I think that shows that they took my inquiry seriously, but not so seriously that they actually invest any money with it. They just grabbed 3 people. I mean, for all we know, the capitulars here because it's not politically expedient for them to be home, and the other 2 people are most likely indulgences. I didn't see. Well, actually, the boar is wearing a frock and armor at the same time, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, they might be sincere, but they're also indulgences. They may be here because the same thing I did, which was to come here to prove that I'm worthy of being ordained. So, but yeah, they're looking for trouble.